Hey guys, Mecha-san here. Okay, with more of the motion manga, Mobile Suit, Gundam Seed, Eclipse. This is the first half of episode 7, in which, let's see, what do we say, 80, 90% repaired Eclipse Gundam, they still say they stole that name from me, goes up against a GINN Gladiator. Which is interesting here. Okay, that thing got a master grade kit, cool. But what's interesting is that from what I remember was released there, information released, is that it's not a customized suit made by this group here, but an actual variant of the GINN that was done in the 1-year war. I mean, not the 1-year war, in the Bloody Valentine War. Huh. I could be misremembering that here. I'll have to recheck. I'll double check my archives, but yeah. Based on some of the designs there, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close quarters combat version of the high mobility GINN. Who knows? We'll probably learn one at some point. But yeah, I would like to know when this thing was used in what battlefields and such. Besides this one, and during the war, if it is a war era suit. Anyhow, okay, let's During the war, Zap introduced new weapons, again an advantage despite the alliance appear. Yeah, pretty much. Giant robots make all the difference. When the Commando ship, the conflict became a protector. Yeah, that's the problem. For the residents of the artificial space island plant, no amount of knowledge or reason can prepare them for this experience. Yeah, mobile suits were designed to be first and foremost a space superiority technology, and they do perform well under gravity here, but there are various constraints. Officials of ZAF were well aware of this fact, and for that reason they allocated precious development resources to create various specialized suits and prepare the one that's okay, yeah, that's the one thing I can say the ZAF was better at than Xeon. Yeah, they actually mentioned they developed the Dom here, but ZAF, the Baku was a genius design. Yeah, quadruped mobile suit here. Like, they even say in the show here, it's like, down on Earth, Baku's rule. And they're right. The quadruped mobile suit here for speed, as well as the form it could take to use the treadmills or for like such speed and action, hit and run tactics. Yeah, they were great. Unpredictable situation. Even then, however, events occurred for which they had no answer. Once the surface invasion began, the Alliance began to deploy the full force of their resources. These attacks were enough to counter the absolute advantage that most had previously had. Yeah, it's a thing here. Even the okay, when the Zou mobile suit developed for Earth failed to achieve results, which is not a bad design either. It's basically like a Zaku tank done right. It's got far more packed weaponry. Like Zaku tank, the gun tank, and even the Hidolfer, just a lot more better. But boy, I would really like an MS Igloo with this. Just with Seed here, like. Let's see how these linear tanks here, which those things are like railguns by old tanks, like call what you want, like magnetic accelerator cannons, max whatever, but those are indeed electrically propelled slug throwers. I hate that I use that word, Kate. And down to this thing. And there's like oots. You know, it's partly because on demand for generals on the ground. Really? Okay. that was the... Really? Interesting! For surface combat, it was a unit that achieved great results from the mid to late period of the war. So that was it. So yeah, it with those electromagnetic propulsion systems here, which again is the exact same type that was used on the high mobility gym, and then eventually in a much more improved, bigger, better version was equipped on the meteors. Yeah, so this was the early. This was probably the early a stopgap measure before they introduced the Bakus. Makes me wonder what other battlefields this thing took place in. I like the sound effects they got for the engine as well. For combat in special regions, a cutting-edge unit like Eclipse should have no problem. But if the GINN type was developed early in the war, it's safe to say they're outdated. Yeah, they are. They're outdated, but a damn good pilot can make all the difference. Incredible. The really GINN was considered, yeah. Gundam made it possible to customize the unit of every. Yep. Visualize a GINN that has thrown away that is something completely different. Alright. Oh. Whoa! The shield? Shield up? Forced to defend itself? The Eclipse was forced to defend itself? So, yeah. Must be something here. Not your average threat. GINN wouldn't even lose to a G weapon. They still call him G weapon. Yeah, he's been thrown on the back foot there. He's been put on the defense. Hori's been put on the defensive. Holy crap. So yeah, here I like this. We begin with another. Basically, the whole thing of why mobile suits are a big deal, especially in Gundam here. Yeah, like we people would say those who speak against giant robots in warfare will say, "Oh, but because the rule is cool." Fuck off. How about you sit down, keep an open mind, and listen to the explanation? They're giving you an explanation, but you just chose to ignore it because why? You want tanks. We want to love tanks. They can do all this. Newsflash: could a tank really operate in the vacuum of space effectively? That's where mobile suits reign supreme. It's like, yeah, so I think mobile suit can do. That's the thing. Like whenever somehow we could talk mobile suits, how giant robots can influence the war. It's like the mobile suit. The Zaku can be. We saw how a Zaku got defeated by tanks, like in Girin's Greed. Okay, yeah, true. I doubt that tactic would work on the Zaku 3, because Zaku 2s were outdated by the time. Also, again, that's on the ground. Try space, you dummies. But it always comes back to tanks. It's annoying. It gets annoying, that part here. But look, here to the right here perfectly. This is an era of space warfare where the weapon that dominates space dominates the war. They say that quite clearly in the show itself here. In one of, like, was it the second or third clip episode of Seed? This one where we had Erica Simmons doing a monologue, and how he said the theory here about Zaft and mobile weapons, and how they're predominantly like the speed of a fighter, the armor of a tank, and the firepower of a battleship. That's what a mobile suit is. It's got all three of those here. All three of those in some capacity rolled into one. Not entirely the dedicated platform, but an all-round versatile unit. Yeah, they can do a lot. And that's another reason why mobile suits also became prevalent in many continuities here because, well, money. It's like a way to save money. Like yeah, we have people who love to make money, but what do most businesses and governments love more than making money? Or love it equally? Saving money. So yeah, mobile suits can actually streamline the whole process here, rather than waste all this effort making like two dedicated platforms. They can focus on just one here, streamlining it all, and save a lot here. Customizations can be done and everything, but yeah. And so yeah, this proves advantage here, especially with the end jammers knocking out targeting systems here. The fact that the Mobius, the fighters here, they're not that they're not as nowhere near as at mobility or agile. I mean, what fighter do you think can make a can go to make a? Sorry, not this one here. Like yeah, let's take this controller. Actually, you know what? I think this PS3 here. Because if I hold it like this, it kind of looks like a fighter wing, doesn't it? Like okay, it goes here, stuff like that. What fighter can go like going straight like this to instantly going like that? No, real. The G-force alone would be immense. I mean, a fighter would have to like cut the engines off, and then run out of inertia and do like that here, do that. That's all it can do. But to instantly, I would have to first like do like this, realign itself, and then go like that. And a mobile suit can do much more sharp turns and angles than anything than a fighter, space or otherwise, can do. But yeah, and then came the Earth, where its mobility is incredibly hampered. It's still a powerhouse, but yeah, it's not as good. It's not as mobile here. It can still have a lot of power and everything like that. But yeah, and I like how this one here. I remember people hating on the Wakus, but I thought when I first saw them, like quadruped, that's ingenious. Like I mean, I'm a Zoid fan. That makes sense. But here it's like, especially when they said in the show, down on Earth, Baku's rule. Yeah, you got a quadruped mobile suit that can have these tank treads for extra speed. We see the hit and run tactics with the missiles or the guns on its back. Yeah, it was damn effective here. So Zaft, in this case, the Zaft and plans adapted far better than Xeon did. But again, it's a case of like the Federation. The Alliance had far more resources and manpower. I really wanted MS Igloo set in seed. See how that went here. UC gets so much love to the point where it's oversaturated. You have all this other universe of continuity and just fleshing out you can do here. Just give us that here, which is why I'm glad for this motion manga here of Seed Eclipse here, but give us more. Give us the early stuff of the Bloody Valentine War. And so yeah, the GINN Gladiator was developed in the midpoint. Demand for generals on the ground. From mid to late period of the war. It sounded like it came relatively early mid to, but when was it used in the late here? Obviously, it's a ground combatant. I could easily see these things being used during the Battle of Joshua, and even the Battle of Panama. Jesus, heck, I want to see these things fight the Sword Calamity. And here we got a bit more on why they if the Gen type mobile suit were developed early in the war, it's just that these things are not outdated. However, a master is because of its incredible versatility. For design, made possible to customize unit in every variety of battlefield. Yeah, we have examples of that here between the high mobility, ground types, and so on and so forth. Yeah, specialized Jin. Wouldn't that be? Wouldn't the Segu count as well? Yes, maybe. So yeah, and we could tell this Jin and with the pod is good enough to put Hori on the defense right there. So yeah. Overall, this promises to be a tense fight. Hori and the Eclipse are handicapped. I'll see how this goes. So everyone, thank you for watching. As always, comment what you all thought. Like, subscribe for more videos. Till next one, this is Mecha-san, logging out.